I told this story recently, and it was calling to me again. So when Reb David asked me to tell it today, I was like, thank you. In the city of Krakow, there is an old cemetery, and all the gravestones are beautifully engraved, except for one. This one stands just outside the gate, under a big old tree, and on it is written, "Here lies Yossele, the holy miser." It was the year 1550, and the Jews of Krakow lived very tight quarters in the ghetto, and they were so poor, except, that is, for one Jew, Yossele. Yossele was very wealthy, but very stingy. He never shared his money with anyone, and people thought he had a heart of stone. When they would see him walking down the street, they would mutter under their breath, "Dirty miser." The children were afraid of him. When they would see him, they would throw pebbles at him and call him names. Nobody ever wished Yossele a good Shabbos, and nobody blessed him on Rosh Hashanah. Now, as time went by, Yossele grew old, and he became very ill, and word got around that he was nearing the end. So the Havurah Kadisha, the Jewish Burial Society, decided to pay him a visit. "Yossele, now is your chance. You can repent. You can do teshuvah. We will take care of everything for your final arrangements. And you can give us 1,000 rubles, and we will give it to the poor." "I'll give you 50 rubles. "Yossele, 50 rubles? What is that? You can't take it with you." "I said 50 rubles, that's it." Well, they shook their head and made their way to the door. But just as they did, they turned around and they said, "Well, we're not going to bury you." "I'll bury myself." And so they turned to leave, and just then, Yossele drew his last breath and uttered the Shema, the Jewish prayer of unity, and passed away. Well, as the Havurah Kadisha promised, they didn't bury him. They kept their word. Yossele died on Sunday. They didn't bury him on Monday, not on Tuesday, and not even on Wednesday. Finally, his neighbor took pity on him. He went to Yossele's house at night and threw him into the wagon, and he drove out to the cemetery. But he was a miser, so he buried him just outside the gate. And on the marker he wrote, "Here lies Yossele the miser." Well, Reb Kalman, the chief rabbi of Krakow, he was a very holy man. And on Thursday, he was studying Torah late into the night. Suddenly, there was a knock at the door. "Reb Kalman, please, can you give me some money for the Holy Shabbos?" "Well, come in, Avram, of course I will help you. But I've known you for years. You have never asked me for help before. Why are you asking now?" So Avram explained that for the past 20 years, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't make a living. But every Thursday morning, there was an envelope under his door, and on the envelope was written, "Lichvod Shabbos," in honor of Shabbat. But suddenly, this Thursday, there was no envelope. 5 rubles every Thursday until this Thursday. Nothing. No sooner had Avram finished telling his story Then there was another knock at the door. Another poor Jew asking Reb Kalman for money for Shabbos. And before he knew it, Reb Kalman's living room was filled with poor Jews all wanting money for Shabbos. Well, Reb Kalman looked around and he said, "You all have the same story? Envelopes under the door, 5 rubles, 7 rubles. But how much money? How did he know how much money you all needed?" Well, they looked from one to the other, and finally Avram stood up. "Well, I can only speak for myself, but I think it's true for everybody here. So many years ago, my family was starving. So I decided to go see Yossele. Maybe he will have pity on us. So I gather all my courage and I go to his door and I knock, and to my surprise, he opened the door and welcomed me with so much love and warmth. And he invited me to come in, and he wanted to know all about me. What kind of work did I do? How many children did I have? And where exactly did I live?" And all the time, he's taking notes in his little book. And then I was so ashamed to tell him why I had come, but he saved me the embarrassment. He just got up and walked out of the room. I thought, oh, he's going to get some money. But no, he came back with wine and cakes, and he invited me to eat and drink with him. So I did. But then, suddenly, he became meshuga, crazy. He stand up and he starts shouting on me. "How dare you come here and ask me for my precious money? I'm not going to give you anything. You get out of my house right now. Don't you ever come back here." So I went home and I told my wife, "It's true. Yossele really is a miser. And he has a heart of stone. He didn't give me even 1 ruble." So Reb Kalman looked around at all the people. But just then, Avram started to cry. How did I not see it? How did I not get it? Because the very next Thursday, there was an envelope under my door, and 5 rubles is inside that envelope. How did I not know it was Yossele? Well, everybody looked from one to the other, and Reb Kalman asked, "Is that what happened to you as well? And you?" Yes. They all had the same story. And then Reb Kalman began to sob from the deepest depths of his heart. "I cannot believe it. It was Yossele, the holy miser, all along, keeping you all alive. Your children who threw stones at him and called him names. He was the one helping all of you, and we didn't even bury him. We never said hello to him. We never asked him how he was. We didn't try to get to know him." Well, I want you to spread the word. This Sunday will be a fast day, and we will ask for Yossele's forgiveness. And so it was, early Sunday morning, all the Jews of Krakow crowded into their shul, and they didn't eat, and they didn't drink, and they prayed, and they cried, and they begged for Yossele's forgiveness. But then, about midday, Reb Kalman collapsed on the floor. Everyone thought he must be dying. And suddenly, he opened his eyes as if from a dream. "Yossele, Yossele, I saw him standing here, radiant, shining with light. And he told me to tell you all to go home. Tell them I don't need them to ask my forgiveness. No, everything was just as I wanted it to be. I wanted to give tzedakah on the highest, holiest level that nobody should know. That is, except for the Holy One. Blessed be He who knows everything. And so it was that the Jews of Krakow were relieved of that terrible burden. Now, when Reb Shlomo Carlebach of blessed memory would share this story, he would follow it up with this one. Once, back in the 70s, Reb Shlomo was at an ecumenical conference. And on the first night of the conference, he shared the story of Yossele, the holy miser. Well, as soon as he finished, Joe, the assistant bishop, came running up to him, thanking him for the story, and asked him to tell it again the next night. So Reb Shlomo did that. And again, after he told the story, Joe rushed up to him and he said, "Thank you. Would you tell it one more time tomorrow? And tomorrow, after you tell it, I'll explain everything." And so Reb Shlomo told the story for a third time. As it turns out, Joe was born to a Jewish woman, a Holocaust survivor. And just weeks ago, on her deathbed, she revealed that she is actually Jewish. Not only is Joe Jewish, but he's named for her father, Yossele, who was known for helping the poor. And he was named for their ancestor, Yossele, the holy miser of Krakow. Her husband was among the American troops that liberated the camps. The moment he laid eyes on her, he was smitten. He asked for her hand in marriage with one condition, that she never reveal to anyone that she's a Jew. Well, Joe's life was turned upside down. So he asked God for a sign. Should I be Yossele from Krakow or Joe the bishop? And then he made a deal with God. If I ever hear the words, Yossele from Krakow, I will know you want me to be a Jew. And then I come here, Reb Shlomo, and not only do I hear those words, but you tell the story of my ancestor, Yossele, the holy miser. My whole life is about to begin over, and I'm terrified. That's why I kept asking for you to tell the story again and again. So I bless us all that we should know our stories and that we should come home to our authentic selves. And may we all be blessed to know true unity in our lifetimes.
Thank you, Ayala. Amazing.